episodes of Party Political Broadcast on behalf of the same old shite party. Brought to you by your candidate, Fashna Nifunakon.
Hi, my name is Fashna Nifunakon of the Irish Anti-Alliance Socialist People's League of Dalkey and Killiney branch. And I'm here to tell you today how to vote and why your vote matters. You see, your vote matters because it allows you to take a personal stake in democracy, in choosing politicians who will vote forward the policies you require. No, it doesn't. That's because I bet Tarquin, you or Fashna, whatever your name is, you come from a family that's politically connected to mainstream political parties. You've jumped out of the system for a few years with your fake new party, but it's all a scam, just like the Green Party, to get you back into the mainstream parties. I bet you come from a traditional Fianna Fáil, Conservative, Labour, Democrat, Republican family. You're a liar. You don't vote, you cannot win in the system. The system is designed to give you a vote, and that's what's important about you getting out there and voting for parties like People Before Profit, comrade. That's a ruse that you have been. Why voting doesn't matter. I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. The greatest vote you can cast is the vote to not vote. The reason for this is that the system is like democracy, and voting is being in a pathological relationship or a toxic relationship with an abusive entity. It's just like being voting in democracies is like battered wife syndrome. It's saying things like, oh, the last guy I voted for was no good, but this guy I'm voting for now, he will change it. That's like a battered wife who says things like, well, he's punching me in the face today. He's not kicking me in the guts like he did yesterday. That means he loves me more. It's the same mentality. It's a pathological relationship. It's a toxic relationship. And you can have toxic relationships not only with people, but you can have them with ideas, concepts, political parties, and beliefs in change and revolution. Now, change is a word that means nothing. That's why this new political joke in Ireland called itself right to change. Change is a word that doesn't promise anything. Change could be anything. They were not called right to water anymore because people originally joined that party because they wanted water. But a mainstream establishment figure named Brendan Ogle, who's a lifelong establishment figure. Remember, the trade unions in Ireland are just as much establishment as the senior civil service and the political parties. So he's not an outsider. So he was brought in there to give you not water, but change. And that's why he's filling his Facebook page now, as is Poshies Before Profit, Boyd Barrett, are filling their pages with Syrian refugees image. It's a distraction to move you away from the original idea, to have you voting for this party so you're not burning down Dáil Éireann or chasing after going to Malta looking for Dennis O'Brien to get the Irish water taken down. That's how the game always works. It's a pathological, and your belief that you can vote for People Before Profit, or vote for the Green Party, or vote for Obama or Bernie Sanders, or vote no to the European referendum, EU referendum in Britain that's coming off. Let me tell you something. If you're born in the UK right now at this moment, and you can somehow have the brains to understand what I'm saying, you will die in the European Union, no matter what the result of the election will be in the UK. The same way Spartacus died inside the Roman Empire. It achieved nothing. So this is what freedom is. Then people say to me, well, what about direct democracy? Direct democracy is statism home delivered. That's all direct democracy is. It's statism brought to your home, your front door. But it's still the same slavery. It's still this belief that politicians, that's cars going by the way, sorry about that. It's politicians and the like will save you at the end of the day. No external system can save you. It can only come from within. The day you realise that you are excrement, that your vote doesn't matter, that no matter what politician they give you, it changes nothing, is the day you become a free man and a free woman. Because you're no longer devoting your psychic, emotional and psychological energies to this fantasy of democracy, this this 4-year stage play where you're all given a chance to clap for the biggest actor so they get the lead role on the stage play that's written by the globalists in the background for the next 4 years. Nothing changes. That's why the governments that come in continue the policies of the governments that out. That's why if you look at, in Ireland, People Before Profit's page, which claims to be an anarcho-socialist group, their actual policy is they could be taken directly from Peter Sutherland's Twitter feed. It's all climate change, refugee issues, and nothing that matters to anybody in Ireland, because the whole purpose of these parties is to distract you. They don't want you worrying about your neighbours and taking care of your neighbours. They want you always looking for the great, grand, social, gigantic solution, which never exists. They never want you saying, screw this, I'm not going to depend on democracy and politicians anymore, I'm going to do it myself. Does that mean that all politicians are psychopaths? No, I'm sure most of them are quite decent human beings. I meet politicians all the time. I'm courteous, I'm polite, but I know they're just actors in a role, and I don't, even to a sense, they're powerless. This brings up another issue, the senior civil service. The senior civil service is the permanent standing government in every country. It's the public sector at the very top. These are unelected officials who have the extreme power that really change things. They're the Orwellian inner party, and you never get a chance to vote for them. Their policies that they dictate to the politicians are not mandates from the people who voted. They're direct exchanges of information that they've received from globalist institutions, the Bilderbergers, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the European Union Commission, and so on, and so on, and so on. This is how it all works. You have the globalist think tanks at the top. They manage the planet globally. They operate all the political parties. This is why Fine Gael in Ireland is basically just a branch of the German Christian Democrats in Germany. Ultimately, the main power in Ireland is Angela Merkel. That's who's running the show. Angela Merkel is administrating Ireland on behalf of the EU, who are administrating Europe on behalf of the Bilderbergs, the Council of Foreign Relations, and the Trilateral Commission, who ultimately all go back to the United Nations, which is run by corporations. So ultimately, it's the CEOs of all the top Fortune 500 corporations who completely control your destiny, through a network and a division of strata all the way down to the senior civil service. And that's where it ends. From the senior civil servants in every country, public sectors, bureaucrats, from that level down, there's power. You don't have power, your politicians don't really have power, nobody has power. It's all a chimera, a fantasy, it's a lie, it's a joke, it's not real. And when you discover that and you say, I'm not going to vote anymore, you'll be amazed how much better you feel, because you're not. Let me tell you something, all you people in Ireland who are all, and all my Facebook friends, so many, is they're going to vote for People Before Profit in Ireland, or they're going to vote for Right to Change, that joke, or the ones in the UK are going to vote against the staying in the European Union, and the rest will vote for Bernie Sanders. Let me tell you what will happen. If those all come to pass, a month or so after your initial Obama euphoria has died off, you'll be going, they're the same old bastards in control. And your hatred will be directed directly at the politicians and the political parties, when in reality, they're just toe rags and rent boys and rent girls for the globalists. And that's why People Before Profit, their press releases are identical to Peter Sutherland's Twitter feeds. It's all going back to a central source. And you'll never see true working class voices in these. This is why they're all either establishment insiders, like big union, big shots who've been in the government in politics and government all life, or they're like posh boys and posh girls from South Dublin, like the character I did at the beginning. You're not allowed in there, because you're working class and poor people, and people who work in farms and people who work in factories. You haven't been brainwashed as well as someone who went to college and university and did a PhD. They're completely brainwashed. They're the ones they want in the system. It doesn't matter what degree they did. Once they got as far as a master's or a PhD, they're completely and totally controllable. They just have no concept of a world that's not based on hierarchies and control. Where someone who grows up poor like me in the ghetto and people who grew up in working class or rural or whatever, or even people who grew up in dysfunctional middle class families, they know that the world is a joke, and they know the game is rigged, and they will never be allowed in politics. Those of you who think Piers Corbyn is going to change things in the UK are just like the ones who thought Obama would change things. You don't get to play in the casino unless the house allows you in the door. And what do they say about Las Vegas? The house always wins. The only way not to lose your money in Las Vegas or any casino is not to give your money to the house, not to sit at the roulette table, and not to play blackjack. It's not to even go in the door. Instead, it's to go out into the desert beyond Las Vegas and explore the beautiful nature of Nevada. It's not to go to the casinos in Soho in London, but then to go down to Wiltshire and look at Avebury and look at Stonehenge and wonder at what incredible human beings we used to be. It's not to go into the casino, because the house always wins. Democracy is not for you, it's not for me. You are a maggot, you are excrement, you are nothing, your vote is pointless, you are scum. And the day you realise that you are a piece of shit is the day that you'll be the greatest and happiest day of your life. Don't be Spartacus. Instead, keep a low profile, see them for what they are, and enjoy a life.